Papua New Guinea's national cabinet is facing strong criticism after deciding to fast track a list of ambitious projects, including the creation of a space agency. A confidential cabinet document verified by the ABC outlines 70 proposed projects. These include purchasing a luxury island with a Congolese wrapper, developing a Formula One racetrack, establishing a tech hub similar to Silicon Valley, working on post-quantum cryptography, and setting up a spy agency with Israeli training. The government aims to accelerate these initiatives as part of the country's 50th independence anniversary celebrations. However, critics argue that PNG struggles to provide essential services such as healthcare, education, and security, while relying on over $3 billion in Australian loans to sustain its budget. Paul Barker, head of PNG's Institute of National Affairs, described many of the proposed projects as unrealistic and a distraction from the government's fundamental responsibilities. Mr. Barker criticized the government's decision as highly irresponsible, calling the proposed projects an extravagant shopping list. He pointed out that PNG already has pressing issues to tackle without diverting attention to ambitious ventures like satellites. Mihai Sora, head of the Lowy Institute's Pacific Islands program, described the plans as overly ambitious for any government, especially given PNG's financial struggles. He noted that the country has relied on 6 Australian budget support loans in 6 years just to maintain basic services. While Sora acknowledged that some projects, such as improving food, water, energy, and digital access, were practical, he argued that many others seemed more like science fiction. He highlighted the intense pressure PNG faces from international investors, the IMF, and other lenders to manage its budget responsibly. It's astonishing that they would even consider signing off on some of these ideas, he said, adding that whatever limited funds PNG allocates could end up being wasted on feasibility studies and contractor fees. Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister, James Marape, told the ABC that the proposals in the cabinet document were ideas for medium to long-term projects. Only a few will receive direct government funding, while most will rely on private sector involvement with government incentives, he explained. Minister assisting the Prime Minister, Rainbow Paita, admitted that some ideas were unrealistic but attributed them to private investors. The unrealistic proposals come from investors presenting ideas to the government, he said. The government won't provide funding. The allocated money is solely for feasibility studies and engaging major consulting firms like the Big Four. However, certain projects, such as the Kumul satellite project, are intended to be owned and managed by the government. Paita noted that a space agency would be necessary to oversee the satellite. KPMG has independently assessed the Kumul satellite, and it will now be reviewed by the National Executive Committee, NEC, he stated. He also mentioned that the proposed intelligence agency was part of a government-to-government initiative with Israel, a nation with strong ties to PNG. Michael Kabuni, a political scientist from Papua New Guinea, PNG, criticized the government's history of investing in large-scale projects that ultimately fail to materialize. He cited an abandoned casino project, which became the focus of a multi-million-dollar embezzlement investigation. The government had contributed by providing land and tax concessions, but the project never progressed due to allegations of missing funds. Kabuni noted that private enterprises do not always guarantee success, as some projects succeed while others fail. He also highlighted that such ventures often impose costs on the government through tax incentives and require legal adjustments for approval. He argued that it is irresponsible to allocate PNG's limited resources to these initiatives, especially when many citizens lack access to essential services such as education, healthcare, and clean water. The news has been met with public dissatisfaction in Port Moresby. Local resident Lynette Simon expressed her disagreement to ABC regarding the government's focus on large-scale projects while ordinary citizens face difficulties. It's a misuse of funds, she stated while waiting for medical attention at a deteriorating city health center. She emphasized that the government should consider the needs of everyday people when planning initiatives, prioritizing improvements in schools, hospitals, and roads.